Yes, we're live. Hello.
Brenda,
How
can
are
you hear
you?
me now?
I think it's the service, the cell phone service.
Well, we had it working a little bit ago.
It's
I
coming and
see her
going.
moving around a little bit. You sure? Oh, now she's froze again, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Can we get her a phone number?
Uh,
Or you know what? She even said she'd climb up the hill higher. Maybe we got to go get her to get outside and go walk up the hill. And
she may have to go for a small hike.
can you hear me, Brenda? She's not hearing us again, Paul.
Well, I think it's all about the service.
It's a
Because,
long way from Iowa to Tennessee, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not hearing her either.
yeah, I think it's just the connection, Rick. Her a connection on her end.
Should I keep talking?
Yeah. She, I,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
you can hear me. All right,
Oh, you
let's
can hear
go.
me.
Let's.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Let's try this. How are you doing this evening?
Okay. I'm wonderful. I'm great. I just wish we had a better connection, but you know, life is good. Couldn't be
Yeah,
better.
where are you at?
Uh, I'm obviously out in the woods. No, I'm at my hunting cabin.
So let's. So what have you been doing all summer?
Mostly fighting grass and ticks, and same thing everybody else is doing, burning up, praying for rain, and all of the above, ready for hunting season. So,
Have
does
you been
that not
riding your
cover it
horses?
pretty much for you? Oh yeah, every day almost. It's hot, and they're hot, but yes, I'm pretty adamant about getting in my horse riding time for morning early, and yeah, that's a big part of my life now. It always has been. I've had it since I was walking. I can't ever remember not having one or a
Right.
dozen.
It's been pretty warm here. It's beautiful today, but yeah, I mean it's been hot. Now what are you thinking about EHD this year? You think your area? Do you normally get some of that down your way, or
Um, Repeat that again. I just heard part of it.
I said as far as EHD, do you seem to get some of that in Tennessee as well?
EHG. Do you have that in
The heat. Is that
Tennessee?
what you said?
Oh, are you not hearing me very well?
It's that connection again.
Not very well. No.
All right. Well, let's talk. Well, forget what I asked you. Let's talk about hunting. What have you got for upcoming hunts this fall?
I think you asked me about hunting. There's not a lot you can do this time of the year. Our late afternoon activities seems to be getting in our old hunting jalopy and a good pair of Alpen binoculars and driving around the crop fields, glassing over the soils and looking over the upcoming crop. It's exciting to see these bucks just almost daily when they start putting on those antlers, and so that's the big entertainment around here. I do have some cameras out, and it's not to particularly target a buck, just because that has never seemed to work for me. But I keep a tabs on the health of the herd. We've been hit by a drought, and these does are nursing little ones, and I just like to see if they seems like they're keeping good body fat, or maybe not fat, but that they're seem to be getting enough to eat, and the babies look healthy and all of that. That's mostly what I do with my cameras, is just keep tabs on the health of the herd. I guess one of the great mysteries of my life is, where do all those deer I let walk go? When they're 2.5 and 3.5 years old, I don't ever see them again. And I think they all go to Iowa so that you guys up there, those older bucks. But anyway, right now, there's not too much you can do. It's so miserable hot. All the shooting houses and the stands have wasps and all that in it. So it's going to have to get cooler. Um, the the wildlife suffers just like more so than the people or livestock, and I just try water supplies, and food plots are pretty much burnt up. They're wild suckle and all that. That's food time of the year. I feel confident, even though the food plots are burned up. I have a lot of clover, and we raked hay off of it earlier, and a lot of it had gone to seed. So those seed are laying there, and when the fall rains start, it'll be sprouting up, and they'll come on green. And at the time that we need them, that's the thing. Right now, it's not particularly needed that bad, but come when after frost, when all the other stuff is down, that clover will come on, and it's high protein, nutritious. So I think it's all falling into place.
Now, do you have any special hunts this fall at all that you're going on?
Well, now that you mention it, thanks to you and a few years ago of introducing me to Steve and Anna Harden up at Wablaw Creek in northern Missouri, um, they became friends through that connection that you made. And yes, I'm going up to their place um, during rifle season. I'll be up there hunting, taking Barney's going with me, and a good friend that wanted an out of state hunt. And so looking forward to that. And no, I'm right on the border, can have a lot of friends in Kentucky, and sometimes I'll hop over there and hunt Kentucky. But favorite place is just here on my own farm. You work for them year round, trying to have a healthy herd, and you just want to hunt your own deer. That, to me, that's the best hunt I go on. Of course, I like to travel sometimes and be in hunt camps, but I'm not like you anymore. I'm not a road warrior that is just hopping from state to state. Sometimes I do, but and be picky. That
Yeah, I I don't know how many more years I'm going to do it. It's a lot of work. I still enjoy it. I love to hunt. But it does get old after a while. And I have to give a big shout out to Steve and Anna down in Missouri, Wobbler Creek Outfitters. I love going down there and hunting with those folks. They're good people, great food, and hey, good hunting on top of that. So yeah, absolutely. Um, let's talk a little bit about what can women do that maybe us men take for granted or don't think about, but how do we get women involved in the outdoors, and what can we do to help them be more successful in the woods? I mean, uh, do women like to get in tree stands 20 and 30 feet in the air, or do they like to hunt from the ground? I mean, there's some differences, finding the right clothing, the right equipment. I mean, what do you recommend?
just get out of the way and give us room. Oh, that probably isn't the answer you want, but most of the women that I know, um, they don't need to be coddled and held by their hand or anything. Most of them can handle it. I think confidence boosters, if they have a gun or bow or whatever they choose to hunt with, something they feel confident in. I know maybe a lot of people, a lot of women, when they first start shooting, may have a bit of fear of recoil and stuff. So I always, if I'm teaching women's classes, I always recommend that they start out with a light recoil gun. 7mm '08 seems to be my favorite. No telling how many young girls that I've started with that gun. It's light recoil, excellent for whitetail deer and deer-sized game. As far as climbing high, my husband was a lineman, but I'm more comfortable he is. So I don't feel that that's your thing. Some women are not comfortable going out in the dark early in the morning, but some men aren't either. I think maybe one of the biggest things is cold. It seems that the female body just gets colder than the male body. It's something to do with all the blood coming to our core, and it makes our hands and feet just freeze. So, figuring out that if you're sitting out in an open stand, maybe some of the boot covers that keep your feet warm, even down to a sleeping bag or something to keep your feet and legs warm. Women aren't going to stay if they're miserable. So many people anymore use shooting houses with a heater, so that has solved a lot of that. Another issue is the whole deal of getting a large animal out. The muscle that it takes. If you're gonna send your wife out to hunt, make sure that you or somebody is available in case she shoots to help her drag this critter in. Most women are quite comfortable field dressing, handling the meat, but it's just the raw muscle power of handling something that weighs as much as she does. So I guess my two biggest things is keep her warm and help her retrieve the game.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. And you're right. I mean, I know a lot of women hunters just like yourself, and they're excellent hunters, and they can do pretty much everything, but they are cold-blooded. I've noticed that a majority of them, they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get cold. I mean, very often, you dress for it, but women tend to get cold. And you're right. I mean, even myself dragging a deer out by myself isn't near and it was never easy, but not near as easy as it was 20 years ago. It's tough. So I try to get help myself. But listen, I want to mention something before we go any further. Paul, how many
Okay.
viewers do we have? Do we have a number of viewers tonight?
Let me
And maybe
look.
Paul can't hear me. I'm not sure.
Can you hear me, Rick?
But we are going to give away, believe it or not, a pair of Alpen Shasta Ridge binoculars, exactly like this pair right here, 8x42s. We're going to give one away this evening. And so what I need is everybody to write down, once again, folks, I've got my Alpenbresser hat right here, and it's upside down, and I've got in here pieces of paper that are numbered 1 to 50. So if everybody would make a guess between 1 and 50, I'm going to draw a number out of the hat here in about 5 minutes, and the closest one to the number, doesn't matter if you go over or under, the closest one to it is going to take home a pair of Alpen Shasta Ridge binoculars, waterproof, lifetime warranty, BAK4 prisms, excellent quality binoculars. And it's my go-to binoculars. I love this. This is what I use in the tree stand. So again,
They're
1 through
good.
50.
glass.
Yep.
They're good
Yep.
binoculars.
Absolutely. Make a guess, and we're going to give it away here just towards the end of the show. So, Brenda, when you get a little closer to deer season, do you have a particular food plot or food that you like to hunt over? Maybe it's acorns if there's a good crop. Maybe it's clover or corn. Or I mean, do you have a kind of a go-to food source?
I do. I start on white oak acorns. I don't think there's anything better. It's just like the deer leave everything. They'll leave the food plots. They leave it all for when the white oaks are falling. And as soon as they
We may have lost
gobble
our audio.
those up, then it's moving on out. Usually by then, the farmers have started picking corn, and you can smell that corn whenever they start combining it. It just has that sweet smell all over the country. And I realize that that's not everywhere. In Iowa, you should have a lot of it.
Can
Illinois
you hear
should
me,
have a
Paul?
lot of it. And if the drought stays up, we may not have much this year, but um, it's kind of like people, I think, when just now coming in, and man, I can just eat them every meal. But by you know September or sometime like that, I'll back of them a little bit. Think about it in terms of what those deer have had all year long. If they've had a food plot all year, that's not going to be anything special to them. They're going to want whatever is new and fresh and tasty and different that they're hungry for that they haven't had for a while. And you know that is usually acorns first, and then the ripe corn. Right now, they're on young soybeans. When they get yellow, the leaves get yellow and they get fuzzy and tough. They'll leave that. But right now, they're tender, especially those soybeans that were planted after the wheat. And gosh, in the afternoon, they're just demolishing the fields. So I'm going to say acorns first, and then the edges of cornfield, and they don't do that much of that during a hunting time. Usually, that's more nighttime stuff. Um, the clover is always a good back. Most of the time, they finish the acorns. The rut has kicked in, so I'm not as worried about food as I am the whole chasing pattern, where the does are and where the bucks are and their whole routine. So I change from food sources to the breeding patterns, and then I go back maybe to food sources and security. After hunting season's been open for a while, you want to get in those thickets and hunt the security. During the breeding season, during the rut, one of my favorite places is near thickets. When they start chasing those does, the does run in and try to hide, and a CRP field or some place where they feel hidden is where I usually find most of the does and spot most of the bucks pursuing them there.
Yep, those are all great places to hunt for sure. And I think the acorn crop around here is going to be a pretty good one this year. So, we have a couple of years that they're so, and then all of a sudden one big year. So hopefully this is it, and that's great for early season. Paul, listen, hopefully you can you could jump on the air here and let me know if everybody has put down
Yes.
a number.
We
Perfect.
have plenty of numbers.
Plenty of numbers. Okay.
Good. Did you put mine in?
What?
I said, did you put
Paul,
mine
can you
in?
do a drum roll like or something,
Maybe next time?
All right.
Maybe next
So is it time to draw, would you say?
Maybe
We've got plenty
time?
of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Paul?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to draw a number here. All right. I've got all these 1 through 50. Again, Shasta Ridge, Alpen Shasta Ridge, 8x42s, lifetime warranty, waterproof BAK4 prisms. They're just a great set of binoculars. So I've got them right here in this hat. I'm going to draw a number, mix them up a little bit, and I've got the number right now. And the number, folks, is, if you can see that, number 27.
27. All right, let's
27.
see.
We need a drum roll.
Oh,
yeah, I know. We needed one.
I need to know ahead of time. Anyway, Karen Dallas got a 24. Reese Every the third got a 34. So
hurry up, guys! I'm dying to know.
It's one of the two: a 34 or a 24.
Well, 24 is closer to 27 than 34.
Well, there you go. Did Karen? Wait a minute. Did Karen win last time?
She did.
She can't win again. Just like
was that a rule? Did we have that rule?
Just like any radio station, right?
Sure. I can take care of. Actually, John, I'm sure we can take care of Karen. I'll deal with that. So yeah, we probably should. And I don't like making up rules, during the middle of the.
Well, she won last week.
We should have probably clarified that, but yes.
If you want to send them to her, send them to her. But I'm just saying she won last week.
Yeah. All right.
It's up
we'll
to you.
Get that worked
Make the
out.
decision.
Who is the next closest one?
That'd be the 34, right? Or 37, 34. Reese Every the third.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out, and yeah, John will call me after the show, and then I'll know. So. Yeah, we probably with Karen winning last week. I suppose you're right, and I can take care of Karen on some binos. So let's go ahead and give them to, who was it? Reese? Did you say
Reese Every one? I 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the third. All right, well, that sounds good, Reese. I think you're on my Facebook page. I'm pretty sure.
Reese
send me a message
that he won. Reese says he won the food plot seeds, and he's already got a pair of them.
Okay, so shall we go back to Karen then?
What do you want to do? Do you want to go to Karen or go to the next closest number?
What do you got for the next closest one? I wish I'd have just drew a number that somebody else had.
Come on, man. This is fun.
Listen. Karen got the closest. I'm going to send them to Karen.
Okay.
And then if we have some new rules, we'll make them up. We'll make sure everybody knows next week. We didn't clarify that. So in all fairness, and I believe Karen won a Mr. Wingbone's grunt call, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, and she did have the closest number. In all fairness to Karen, we'll take care of her, and then so we'll come up with some rules for next week. But anyways, Brenda, we will get you back on the show sometime when I know you have a really good service. And I apologize to the folks if as we got the show started, a little rocky at first, but everything came through, and I'm hoping that you have some good luck this fall, Brenda.
Well, I'm hoping you are too, and I hope we meet on the road someplace.
Well, let's try and do that. So, anyways, it's dinner time for me, and I'm sure for you. And
Karen,
thank you.
Karen said that if you want to give them to somebody else, that's okay with her.
Well, why don't we? I'll talk to Karen, and we'll save them for next week. If we don't give them away this week, we'll give them away next week. How's that?
Sounds good.
That way we won't tie up too much time trying to figure out what we're doing. But we're going to have some giveaways pretty much on most every show. And Lance at over at Alpen and Bresser was kind enough to donate some things, and he will on a regular basis. So we'll have some things. We'll get this taken care of. So
I'm surprised.
A little rocky start to the show, but I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I'm surprised Brenda's not like, if nobody wants them, I'll take them.
Yeah, maybe I should just maybe they should send them to me, but I've already got a pair. So yeah, we'll get them out.
You can send them
for sure. So Anyways, dinner time. The bell's ringing. Time for me to go. Brenda,
All right.
thank you again for being on the show. We'll get you on again.
Thank you for
sometime.
having me, Rick. It's always my pleasure.
Good. Folks, thanks for watching tonight. And I'm not sure who next week's guest is at this point, but we'll get it figured out. Anyway, folks, thanks for coming along. You're watching On the Road with Alpen Optics, On the Hunt with Alpen Optics, on the road. I'm on the road all the time. And we will see you next Wednesday, 6 to 6:30. Good night, everybody.